Yeah. Okay. What is it? One legacy. Oh, okay. Actually, everybody take one and pass it down.
Take one and pass it down, and don't return it. Pass it. Oh, cool. That was nice.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Take one.
Take one and pass it down.
Take one and pass it down.
Take one and pass it down.
Yes. Oh. Cell phones, everyone? Okay, ready? Good evening, everyone. We're ready to begin tonight's City of Gardena regular city council meeting for March 26, 2019. Madam City Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Madam Mayor, all council members are present.
Okay, thank you. So tonight we didn't have closed session. We're going to begin with a Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Ms. Kaylin Martinez and Isabel Eastley. And immediately following that, we'll be led into our invocation by the Reverend John Ward. So at this time, if everyone could please stand.
Okay. Please place the flag, put your right hand over your heart, ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
May we pray. Father, our God, our Lord, our Creator, our Sustainer, we worship and praise you because of who you are. And we give thanks to you because of all the blessings you pour into our lives every day. We ask that in your Holy Spirit you would preside over this meeting. And we ask that you would gift each member of this council, each elected official, and each staff member with contentment through meeting their every physical need, with happiness through the people they love who return their love, and with joy through reconciliation and fellowship with you. Father, on behalf of every citizen of our family community, we ask you to teach your children, guide your children, inspire your children, and heal your children physically, emotionally, and spiritually. We ask all of these things in the powerful and eternal name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
You may be seated. If I could have our two pledgers come back to the front, please. So tonight's Pledge of Allegiance was led by Kaylin Martinez, who is in the 8th grade, and Isabel Islas. Both students attend St. Anthony of Padua School, and their principal is Miss Angela Gray. Kaylin and Isabel are part of St. Anthony School student government and are continuously role models for other students. They take pride in all that they do, and their academics show just how serious they are and how much they give on a daily basis. So I'm going to start with Kaylin. Would you like to say anything?
I appreciate for giving me the opportunity to represent my school, and I thank you for everything else.
Okay, thank you. And did you bring anyone with you tonight? Your mom or dad or principal?
My mom and dad.
Where are they at? Just want to recognize them as well. Thank you for bringing them out tonight. And Isabel, is there anything you'd like to say?
I would also like to thank you for giving us an opportunity to come here, and thank you for doing everything that you do for our city.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And who brought you tonight?
I brought my brother, sister, and my mom.
And where are they at? All right. Well, thank you guys both for leading us in the pledge tonight. You guys did an amazing job, and we look forward to you guys coming back in the future. All right. Thank you. Next, if we can have Reverend Ward come back to the front, too. So tonight, our invocation was led by the Reverend John E. Ward, who is a senior pastor and a minister of music at First Southern Baptist Church of Gardena, which is located at 1025 Marine Avenue. Reverend Ward has served as First Southern Baptist Church for over 44 years. He called to serve as an associate pastor in September 1974 and was officially ordained as a minister of the gospel in 1976 and has been the church's senior pastor and minister of music since April of 1996. In addition to his preaching, teaching, ministry, and music-related activities with his choir and his congregation, Pastor Ward composes, arranges, and teaches choral and instrumental music and is a freelance professional jazz trombonist. Reverend Ward also supports and has participated in numerous City of Gardena programs and community functions. He and his wife, Nancy, have been married for over 56 years. They have 4 children, 10 grandchildren, and 15 great-grandchildren. Reverend Ward, is there anything you'd like to say?
If I may, thank you for letting Nancy choose me to lead in the prayer tonight. I appreciate that. And I want to thank you and commend you for continuing a long, I think, important tradition in this council of beginning each of your meetings with a Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag and an invocation. The flag represents the greatest nation God has ever given to humankind. And the prayer is a public way of inviting God to be involved in the meeting and in the business that you're transacting tonight. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much for that. Everyone, please give him a round of applause. So next, we have our military veteran that we're going to recognize tonight. And tonight, we will be honoring Mr. Henry Wayne Buffett, who was selected by Councilmember Henderson. Before I read his bio, Councilmember, would you like to say anything about the person you chose?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to say a few things in regards to Mr. Buffett. I know you're going to read his bio, but I want to say something to him so he knows I really understand his service and everything, and we definitely appreciate his service. But him working in combat systems, all that time we'd have been across the hall from each other if we would have served and everything. But also being a 7th Fleet sailor. For those that don't know, when you're in the 7th Fleet, you're forward deployed and you're haze gray underway, so you never get to see port. So to be a 7th Fleet sailor is very special, so I wanted to acknowledge that, Mr. Buffett, and please read his bio.
Okay, Mr. Buffett, you can come forward, and Councilmember, you can go ahead and go down and present him with the coin. So his bio reads as the following. Born in Louisiana, Mr. Buffett is 76 years old and a longtime resident of Gardena. His military service includes: Mr. Buffett reported for duty with the U.S. Navy on August 16, 1960, and served until honorably discharged on November 15, 1963. His rank was that of Navy Electronics Technician, or known as a radar petty officer, 3rd class. As a technician, he was a member of the exclusive group of professionals, especially trained in electrical engineering, computer, and aerospace. Technicians help operate and manage the electronic systems and subsystems of the world's most advanced ships and aircrafts, as well as on the base ashore. Buffett's service was on aboard the USS Ashtabula as part of the U.S. Navy's 7th Fleet in the Western Pacific Ocean. For his military service, Mr. Buffett was awarded a Good Conduct Medal. Also of note, Henry Buffett is also a longtime active member of the City of Gardena, Second Time Around Citizens Club. So upon receiving tonight's recognition, Mr. Buffett will also receive a special coin that was just presented to him. Also, he will He'll get complimentary pictures as well as the DVD of tonight's meeting, and his picture will be displayed on the electronic sign at the corner of Redondo Beach Boulevard and Western. So congratulations, Mr. Buffett. And at this time, hold on. And at this time, if you would like to say anything, only if you'd like to, you have the microphone at this time.
The only one thing that I really want to include about the military is that if you have a son or daughter that's thinking about it, make it a family affair. Because too often we do not share this knowledge with our children, and they don't know what the military has to offer them. It's a whole new world out there, and they have opportunities. And most of you probably already know my lifetime partner. She's very active in the city of Gardena. She's put up for me with 53 years. Wow. Ms. Jerry Buffett, I'd like for you to stand. And thank you very much for this opportunity to serve the city.
Well, thank you, Mr. Buffett, for accepting our award today. Next, we have a certificate of commendation, which will be presented to Michael Duran. So I'm going to read this here first, and then I'd like to ask if Mr. Cruz could come forward and say a few words before Mr. Duran comes forward here. So this here certificate, Becky, if you can just hold it up to the audience, this is what it reads. A certificate of commendation that's being presented to Michael Duran. It's an official acknowledgement and with our deep appreciation for exemplary, outstanding service for over 32 years in the city of Gardena as a street maintenance superintendent with the General Services Department. So we, the mayor and the members of the City Council of the City of Gardena, California, are pleased to present this special recognition to you for your longtime city service and express our sincere best wishes for an enjoyable and rewarding retirement, which will be effective March 31st, 2019. And it's been signed by all of us. So congratulations on that. And I'd like to turn the microphone over to Mr. Joseph Cruz first. And I think he has a few words to say, and then Mr. Duran, you can speak.
Good evening, Mayor Serta and council members. It's an honor to be here tonight to recognize Mike Duran and his 32 years of service for the city of Gardena. Mike started his career in 1987 as a graffiti removal tech and quickly rose through the ranks, if 32 years is quick, and became a street maintenance superintendent, leading all of our field operations for Public Works and our facilities maintenance staff. Mike's father, Armando, was also a retiree from the city of Gardena. He retired as a Public Works lead, although he's no longer with us. I'm sure he's very proud of Mike's accomplishments, as we all are. Mayor Serta, it was just last week, Thursday night, at your State of the City address where you acknowledged all of the work of our general services staff. That work does not get accomplished without all of the hard work of our men and women in the department, and in particular, the leadership and guidance from Mike Duran. So I'd just like to say thank you to Mike for his commitment to the city, for his guidance to me personally, and I wish him a long, healthy, and happy retirement.
Wow, this was a real hard decision for me to make. It was bittersweet. I really didn't, I felt like I wasn't ready to go, but I knew I had to. My mom just turned 90, so I want to be there for her. And I feel sorry for my family. They went through it. I would say yes, and I would say no. But I did make up my mind and decided to retire. Working for the city of Gardena was supposed to be a short stint, 2-3 years tops. That's what I thought. And 32 years later, I'm still here. Under the guidance, I love working for all the citizens and all the guidance from you, guidance from Joe. I'm getting nervous now. But anyways, but yeah, I do have a honey-do list. The boss over there, she says, you got stuff to do. So let's see if I can do as good a job as I did here. Thank you very much for your time.
So I'd just like to read this certificate from the California Assembly presented by Assemblymember Al Martsushi. Certificate of recognition to Michael Duran, Street Maintenance Superintendent, in recognition and celebration of your retirement after 32 years of service, and with sincere appreciation for your contributions to the city of Gardena. Congratulations.
All right. All right, thank you very much. Okay, next we have a proclamation. The month, let's see, March 31st through April 6th is Safety Seat Checkup Week. And the proclamation reads as the following. The #1 preventable cause of death and injury involving children and young adults is the automobile collision. More than 90 child passengers under the age of 15 are killed, and more than 12,000 injured in automobile collisions in California each year. More than 90% of child safety seats are used incorrectly, and up to 71% of small children killed in vehicle crashes would be alive today if they had been properly restrained in child safety and booster seats. The state of California requires that all occupants ride restrained properly in safety seats and safety belts with children in the back seat until at least the age of 8 years old. Safety Seat Checkup Week is March 31st through April 6, 2019. It's sponsored and supported jointly by the California Office of Traffic Safety, Pomona Police Department, Toyota Motor North America, and Jackie Robinson Community Center, Pasadena Police Department, and Safety Belt Seat USA. So we proclaim March 31st through April 6th to be Safety Seat Checkup Week and urge all Gardena citizens to make use of resources available to prevent all passengers, especially innocent children, from suffering unnecessary tragic injury or death as a result of these accidents. So if any of you guys would like to attend like a free safety checkup event, there is one scheduled for Saturday, April 6th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's in Pasadena at the Jackie Robinson Community Center. We also have a proclamation for DMV Donate Light, and I believe tonight accepting that is Ambassador Happy. Are you here? Okay. As you come forward, I'd just like to read the proclamation that you're being presented. And it states, whereas organ tissue, marrow, and blood donations are life-giving acts recognizable worldwide as expressions of compassion to those in need, and millions of lives are saved and healed each year because of these donations. And whereas 113 individuals nationwide and more than 21,000 Californians are currently on the National Organ Transplant waiting list, and on average 20 people will die each day while waiting due to the shortage of donated organs. And whereas the spirit of giving and the decision to donate are not restricted by age or medical condition, and whereas over 15 million Californians have signed up for the state-authorized Donate Life California Donor Registry to ensure their wishes to be organ, eye, and tissue donors are honored, and whereas California residents can sign up with the Donate Life California Donor Registry when applying for or renewing their driver's license or ID cards at the California Department of Motor Vehicles. So we proclaim April 2019 to be DMV Donate Life California Month in the city of Gardena, and encourage all Californians to check yes when applying for or renewing their driver's license or ID cards, or by signing up at www.donatelifecalifornia.org or www.donvitacalifornia.org. Ambassador Happy, would you like to say anything at this time?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for having me here in One Legacy tonight. I received a heart transplant 34 years ago tomorrow. And it was at the beginning of heart transplantation when it was an experiment. I was a number sixth heart transplant of UCLA. And transplantation has come a long way, and there is always a need for donors. It's incredible the amount. I think it's like 20 people die a day waiting for an organ. So it is an important thing, and of course it's important to me. And I received the heart from a 16-year-old girl, and we have done well since then. And I go every place I can trying to give back and letting people know that organ donation does work, and I'm here to prove that. So thank you very much for having me here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you too, sir, and we appreciate hearing your story as well, and hopefully others will choose to be donors as well. So thank you for that. Okay, next we have another proclamation for the Fair Housing Month, and I believe there's a representative here today, Stephanie Liu. Okay, as she's coming forward, I'll read the proclamation. And it says, whereas the greatest freedoms enjoyed by Americans is the freedom to live in a home of one's choice, and whereas the promise made to us by the National Fair Housing Law requires that all people be treated equally in connection with the sale or rental of housing, regardless of race, color, national origin, sex, gender, identity, disability, sexual orientation, marital status, age, familial status, or religion, and whereas in 2019 marks the 51st anniversary of the Federal Fair Housing Act, the original legislation targeted the elimination of household discrimination in America. Whereas since the adoption of the fair housing legislation in April 1968, the month of April has been designated as Fair Housing Month. And further, this year, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and the Fair Housing Foundation have organized events and activities to focus attention on the issue of equal opportunity in housing. So we proclaim April 2019 to be Fair Housing Month, and in the city of Gardena, and we call upon each citizen of this community to support fair housing and equal opportunity in housing efforts by putting into practice the principles of freedom, justice, and equality upon which this great nation was founded. Ma'am, if you'd like to say anything?
Thank you. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the mayor and city council members for presenting the proclamation to the Fair Housing Foundation. We truly been honored to represent the city as the fair housing provider, as well as works with you to affirmatively further fair housing, and we're truly honored to be here accepting this proclamation. We also want to take this opportunity to provide an invitation to our annual reception that we host every April on April 24th. I would like to provide as well. And thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next we're going to move on to the next part of our agenda under appointments. Does any member of the council have any appointments to be made to any commissions, committees, boards, or council at this time? If not, we're going to move on to consent calendar. Does any member of the council wish to discuss any item on the consent calendar separately? Councilmember Henderson?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's not really a long discussion. It's more of a question for my own edification for the city manager. In regards to the JPA for car clubs and different things, are other counties also doing similar things? I know when we were at that event, we met other car clubs from different, Santa Clara County, San Diego County. Are they forming JPAs as well in conjunction with us?
Councilman Henderson, the Joint Powers Authority that we're a part of is sort of unique for the Southern California region and LA County specifically. There are other associations that either represent the card clubs. For example, the California Gaming Association represents the card club owners. In Los Angeles County, the Joint Powers Authority we have down here is unique, more innovative, I think. This is going to help move forward with our advocacy and information distribution activities that we're going to be working on in the next probably 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, I was just hoping that maybe some of the other car clubs in other counties would, so we can kind of really get some strength when we.
They're just not centered around a formal Joint Powers Authority.
Got it. That was all I had, Madam Mayor. Just curious.
Okay. Do you need any more? Does anybody else need any more explanation? Because I do know it's a certain amount of money that we're requesting from our city. Because I'm the representative for the JPA at this time. No? Okay. Okay, so if there are no other questions at this time, can I get a motion to approve the consent calendar as is?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Kaskanian and a second by Councilmember Henderson. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Kaskanian.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka.
Yes.
Councilmember Medina.
Yes.
And Mayor Serta.
Yes. Next is, let's see, Planning and Environmental Quality Commission action sheet. So just something to note, the March 19th, 2019 meeting was canceled. We're going to move on next to oral communications. Tonight we have two speakers, and they are Gloria Gutierrez from the League of Women Voters of the Torrance area. And the next is, the last name is Kim. I apologize for not being able to pronounce the first name. And I just want to remind everybody that you do have 3 minutes. When the small light here, when the yellow light comes on, that will alert you that your 2 minutes are up. When the red light comes on, that will alert you that your 3 minutes are up. And we really appreciate you just kind of keeping your speech within that time frame. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for allowing me to speak today. I'm Gloria Gutierrez. I'm the Natural Resources Director from the League of Women Voters of the Torrance area. And I'm really excited to share with you some events we'll have in April. We'd love to invite the City of Gardena to join us at. You should have been given 2 flyers. We actually have 3 events around natural resources in April. Well, I'll start with these 2 and I'll talk about the 3rd one. So the first event is the viewing of The Lorax, which is a great Dr. Seuss movie. It is an awesome opportunity for grandparents and parents to bring their kids in to learn about some environmentalism. In this particular movie, the main character is a boy living in a kind of a future society that doesn't have any real plants. Air is bottled and sold. And he has an infatuation with a little girl whose only wish is to see a tree. So for the rest of the time, he's trying to figure out, how am I going to make this happen? And it's a great journey to be taken on. So I highly encourage everyone to come to the movie. It'll be at the Lomita Library. It's on April 13th from 1 to 4 o'clock. And this is being co-hosted by the Lomita Library. So again, it's the viewing of The Lorax at the Lomita Library on April 13th, 1 to 4. A great precursor to Earth Day. So this is a great way to get kids involved or interested in Earth Day, and then actually hopefully doing something related to the Earth on Earth Day. And then the second event you have there is for a panel about recycling. The title is Envisioning a Path to Zero Waste. And we have some great speakers who will come out and talk about what they know about recycling, its current and future prospects. What interested me in hosting this panel is that we've had some very major shifts in the field of, and the industry of recycling in the last year and a half. As of January 2017, China stopped accepting any of our recyclables. And up to that point, they had been receiving half of all of our recyclables. So that went from, I think, about 2 billion tons a year to nothing. Now all of our waste is being diverted to other Asian nations that don't have the facilities to manage it properly. And there's articles coming in from Malaysia saying they can smell the burning plastic in the air. So it's something we really need to think other ways to handle it. And that's part of why I wanted to host this panel, and also because LA is looking to go zero waste by 2050. So we want to talk about what that looks like. The third event is actually next week. It's on April 2nd, Tuesday. It'll be at El Camino, and it's a screening of the film Age of Consequences. It's a documentary about the current status of energy policy around the world and how it affects military policy. So
you can go ahead.
Thank you. So it's a great documentary about how all of these problems are interrelated, especially as it pertains to climate change. And I hope to see you there. It'll actually be from noon to 2 p.m. It'll be at the East Dining Hall at El Camino College. And the room holds about 150, so I'm hoping we can fill it. Again, that's at El Camino College, April 2nd, which is next Tuesday, from noon to 2 p.m. and the screening of Age of Consequences. I don't have a flyer for that one with me here, but I can email it if needed.
What was the name of the movie again? Is it Age of Consequences?
Age of Consequences, yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next speaker is, I think this is Sterling. I just couldn't recognize the writing on the first name. Last name Kim.
Is that allowed?
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. I've been asked to come up here to speak for the groups ADAP and GDAP to just give a preview of what will be coming in the month of April. 2017, ADAP in partnership with GDAP and the Gardena Juvenile Justice Intervention Program, supported a group of high school students, the High School Task Force at Gardena High School, where they conducted the first ever anti-420 rally. Since then, due to the overwhelming positive reception of that, the Gardena High School has turned it into an annual event. And this year, coming April 8th through April 12th, they will be doing an anti-420 rally at the school, where they will be educating the students and whoever attends about the dangers of marijuana. I remember Mayor, you expressed you wanted some knowledge regarding the edible marijuanas, and I believe they will be coming to the next council meeting to do a little preview spot of some of the educational material, the interactive educational materials that they will be presenting regarding that and all the dangers involved with that. And that'll be that.
Okay, so April 8th through 20th and also 420 Day at Gardena High School?
Well, they're on spring break, so that's why they had to move it to April 8th through actually the April 12th.
Okay.
And then they will also be doing a community educational workshop that will be open to the community, entire community, but that will actually get bumped in May, and I believe they'll be coming in to give the announcement and provide flyers for that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so next we're going to move on to our departmental items. We're going to begin with item number 8B1. Mr. City Manager.
8B1, Madam Mayor.
Yes, 8B1.
Item 8B1 is resolution number 6368, confirming the findings of the 2018 Annual Housing Element Progress Report. As a way of background, the State of California Office of Housing and Community Development requires an annual update of the implementation status of a jurisdiction's housing element. The state requests information related to the number of new housing units built in order to meet state-mandated regional housing needs allocation. We often refer to those as RHNA numbers. This annual update is due by April of 2019. The city has made acceptable headway in meeting state-mandated regional housing needs. In 2018 calendar year, the city permitted 124 above moderate income units throughout the city and has already surpassed the allocation required for RHNA numbers in this category. The city was not able to produce any moderate, very low, or low income housing units in 2018 calendar year. This is an area where the city continues to struggle, as other cities do, and is a focal point of our efforts when we meet with developers. The city has used various different mechanisms to try to encourage these types of housing, for example, density bonuses, et cetera, that has come in front of the city. Although we have approved projects with density bonuses, they have yet to be built. On a positive note, our handy worker program assisted in the modification of 48 total units. Of these 48 units, 20 were considered extremely low, 17 were considered very low income, and 11 were considered low income. So what is required by the City Council is to adopt resolution number 6368 and our ability to submit the 2018 Annual Housing Element Progress Report to the State of California HCD.
Okay, thank you. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments on this here? Councilmember Henderson?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. City Manager, thank you for that report. Is there any way that we can kind of notify folks that we are trying to work towards our goals of low, moderate income housing? It's just we haven't been able to achieve that, but we actually are making an effort. Is there some way we can communicate that to the powers that be so they understand that we are working towards that?
Sure. I mean, we obviously can use our website and other handout material and post it on our videos in our lobby, et cetera. It's certainly a challenge that a lot of jurisdictions are facing and something that we're acutely aware of. And certainly the governor, our new governor, has made it very clear that that's one of his top priorities. So as we meet with developers, that is very often a portion of the discussion regarding their projects.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Kaskanian.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. City Manager, do we know how many units we still have to build to meet our goal? I mean, approximate numbers?
So moderate income RENA allocations remains at 12. Very low and low income allocations remain at 98. So that's the current number. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions or comments? If not, can I get a motion to adopt resolution number 6368?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka and a second by Councilmember Henderson. Will you call the roll, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Medina.
Yes.
Councilmember Cascanian.
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Next up is item number 8D1. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, this is something I think long awaited by the council members. This is a council item to award construction contract for Raleigh Park improvements totaling $85,256.78, job number 870, to Verex LLC in the amount of $45,822 for auditorium audiovisual upgrades, and to J Squared General Contractors, Inc. for the amount of $39,434 for auditorium classroom remodel. 3 informal bids for each contract were solicited without an advertisement per the state informal procurement method, and they were received on March 7, 2019. Vertex LLC submitted the lowest responsible bid in the amount of $45,822 for the AV upgrade. J Squared General Contractors, Inc. submitted the lowest responsible bid in the amount of $39,434 for the classroom remodeling. Verex LLC is an audiovisual integrated experience association certified company as a project specified with verified successful project experience in this field, including the Gardena City Council chambers, the AV remodel with their subcontractor media-centric integration. J Squared General Contractors, Inc. is a state-licensed building contractor specializing in design, build, service, including construction management, engineering, and maintenance. Construction of both projects is anticipated to start in early May 2019 and be hopefully completed approximately 15 days for the classroom and about 7 days for the AV upgrade, give or take, depending on what they run into with our older infrastructure. The budget amount in total is $85,256,078. The funding source is Park in Lieu. As you look at a number of items coming in front of the City Council over this council meeting, previous council meetings, and future ones, you will see that we will be investing significantly in park and facility upgrades to improve the quality of the experience when residents visit our parks and our facilities.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Councilmember Henderson?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to commend us as well as city staff in regards to the proper allocation of the Park and Lieu funds. That's exactly what they're for. So we're not just sitting on it for whatever reason. We're actually expending it and getting it out to the community for a lot of these remodel projects. So I think we've been forward thinking and making sure we had the funding and then now expending it properly. So just giving the body a collective kudos as well as city staff and city manager. That's all I want to say.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, anybody else? No? Okay, so at this time, I'd like to get a motion to award the construction contract to Verex LLC and J Squared General Contractors. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay. Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Henderson and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka.
Yes.
Councilmember Medina.
Yes.
Councilmember Cascanian.
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Next up is item number 8D2. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, agenda number 8D2 is authorize a purchase order to VIP restrooms in the amount of $47,428.58 to lease temporary shower and restroom trailers at Prim Pool. This will be job number 975. The lease of 2 trailers will provide 6 showers, 5 restrooms, and 1 ADA restroom between June 7, 2019 and August 11, 2019 at Prim Pool. Cost also includes daily maintenance service for 68 days to remove wastewater from the trailers during the summer swimming program. All 12 rooms will be utilized as changing rooms, and existing restroom and shower facilities will be closed for renovation. One of the things that the City Council approved is a purchase of land adjacent to the Prim Pool, and as we're working out the details for the expansion of Aquatic Center, many of you know the current facilities on that property are in very poor condition. It did not seem feasible or reasonable to invest a lot of money in making those repairs because it'd just be a sunk cost, because ultimately that building will be torn down. This will provide the participants in our summer swim program an opportunity to use changing facilities and restrooms, et cetera, from these trailers that will be much nicer than the current status of the building. It is estimated or hoped that by next year we won't have to use a rental trailers for this event, and depending on how that project moves forward. All that being said, this is a very positive move forward as we're showing progress towards, moving that Aquatic Center renovation from, a dream to a reality. So what is required by the City Council is to approve the budget of $47,420.58 for the restrooms and shower facilities. This funding source is from Park and Lou once again, and the authorization to purchase order is required by the City Council.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? No? Oh, okay, Mayor Pro Tem?
Just a quick question. So we're spending a lot of money for temporary. So what would it cost us to tear down and put up a new of what we need, and when is this going to happen?
It's a good question, Mayor Pro Tem. First of all, it will be unlikely that the new changing in restrooms will be located where they are now. I've been doing a lot of walking around on that property. The property will probably be extended out towards the sidewalk to some degree. I imagine, and we're going to have to look at the different designs, that the restroom and changing facilities will be in a completely different area. So the infrastructure that is unusable. The conditions of the restrooms and the facilities are very, very poor, and probably more than it would be cost more than the current amount to repair those restrooms and bring them up to a standard that we would like, and that would be a complete just sunk cost, because we'll never get the return on investment, because that building will be demolished within most likely a year.
Okay.
Any other questions? Councilmember Medina, sorry. One blank.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On the outside chance that we have expanded our recyclable lineage of water, the purple pipes from the Johnson Park, is it feasible to have recycled water going to Prim Pool?
I don't know if that would be a viable project, because number one, once the pool is filled, the pool is just added as it evaporates. It's not an ongoing filling and draining of the pool.
No, I'm only speaking of the restrooms, as far as the water is concerned, not the pool.
Okay.
Just the restrooms and the showers.
I don't think that's legal to have recycled water to your restrooms. I think you have to have pure water.
I really don't have the answer to that question. So. We would have to research it. I'm not aware of the possibility of that being.
I'm sorry.
I'd
Go ahead.
rather not speculate. I would rather have to look into that. I've not heard of that experience. The use of water actually in the shower facilities is fairly minimal. It's not like watering a park or anything like that. And as we build out this aquatic center, we're going to be very mindful of trying to be as sustainable as possible. For example, using solar power to heat, to the extent possible, the pool or pools, depending on how the layout goes out. Showers that have nozzles on there that have timed amount of water that come out, that they don't just run, continuously. Low water or no water, toilets, those kind of things. I mean, we have committed as a city to do that, and as we look forward to any expansion, any projects in our city, sustainability is something that will be very important on our list.
Okay, thank you. Just a question that I had.
Any other questions or comments? Mayor Pro Tem?
So Gardena High School used to use ours as their swimming and their diving are they going to continue to do that if we upgrade our pool? And will they be willing to make at least some allowances for that?
I'm not aware that they're currently using that, Mayor Pro Tem. The space that is actually there is not utilized effectively, and now that we have the additional property next to it,
Right.
we have a lot of opportunity to make that a really nice center by relocating the pool. Most likely we'll have either 2 pools or a very large pool that could be separated for multiple uses, an additional meeting space. As I mentioned, I've been walking around and taking a look at the possibilities, and I think we have a great opportunity here to really maximize the space, and then also utilize as an effort to bridge the distance between the gym and the pool area to make it more connected and unified, as well as with the not having it be separate as it is now.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, if not, can I get a motion to authorize a purchase order to VIP restrooms?
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay. Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Medina and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Medina,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka,
Yes.
Councilmember Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
and Councilmember Cascanian,
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Next is item number 8G1. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Serta, Director Crespo really wanted to present this item, so I'm going to allow him to come forward. On a serious note, trying to get our staff to present more of their items is something that I'm looking forward to doing in the future, and I've asked Mr. Crespo to present this item.
Okay, you have the microphone.
I know. My 4 kids and family are watching. They don't believe. They're like, you don't really have to stay this late, right? I'm here to present item 8G1, A and B. So that's regarding our fiscal year low carbon transit operation program, which we refer as LC-TOP to make it short. Specifically, resolution number 6369, authorizing project submittal to the California Department of Transportation, and resolution 6370, authorizing the execution of the certification and assurances. The low carbon LC-TOP is one of the several programs that are part of the Transit Affordable Housing and Sustainable Communities program established by the California League legislator in 2014, Senate Bill 862. It's designed to provide operating and capital assistance for transit agencies to reduce greenhouse gases and emissions and improve mobility. G-Trans is eligible to receive $180,006 under this program. LC-TOP funding will be allocated toward the purchase of 2 40-foot zero-emission battery electric buses. G-Trans intends to bank these funds and use them towards forthcoming LC-TOP allocations for fiscal year 20, fiscal year 21, and fiscal year 22 towards this project. We will return to council each year to reauthorize the project with your current allocation and permission. To complete the application process and receive the funds, G-Trans is required to submit a resolution authorizing the mayor or her designee to act on behalf of the City Council and G-Trans for this purpose of this program and approve the project and project request under LC-TOP. There is no impact to the general fund, and what we're requesting is approval of both Resolution A and Resolution B. I'm
Okay.
available for any questions. if you like.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions or comments at this time? Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Crespo, in regards to the future years of securing the allocation, how much is one of those electric buses, and will we be able to trade in one of our older members of our fleet, or no, we just got to buy these buses?
So, great question. So electric buses are ranging right now between $900,000, $1 million for one bus. That's a brand new, that's the amount we use right now. We probably won't be able to trade up, exchange the existing vehicles, right? Because we will seek funding, federal funds, to purchase those buses. But we do that a little bit we try every year for some that we use formula funding and some that we go out competitively to try to compete against other transit agencies for electric buses. That's the hot topic right now. Everybody's trying to compete for electric buses now, so there's not much money.
Thank you.
Mr. Student Manager, do you want to say something? Or?
Yes, just as a way of a further explanation, you know, G-Trans gets its funding from a lot of different sources, and all of these little pools of money help towards that end. $1 million is expensive for a bus, but we're now here, we have $180,000 towards that endeavor. So it's really it's an orchestration of putting these different pieces together to get the final amount to purchase these buses. So a great job by Mr. Crespo and his staff.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Henderson?
So in regards to that, because as we accumulate these funding, the CARB is not going to hit us for not meeting our cap and trade and GHG. No?
No, this money is really related to kind of how the auction works out. So every year, depending on how that works out, depends on our new returns. So we don't have the amounts for the future years. We don't know what that will be.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Mayor Pro Tem?
Just a quick one, thank you. So when we get these electric buses, I know they only last for so many hours, but do we have already in place at G-Trans how to charge them, to maintain them?
So currently, we have 6 electric buses that we maintain. We have chargers for those. The technology on these vehicles is changing drastically. Right. So new manufacturers are touting 350-mile range, 300-mile range. That infrastructure may be a little bit different. You know, we don't have that infrastructure because we don't know what buses we're going to buy yet. But our mechanics are well trained because they have that exposure, as opposed to some other agencies who don't have electric buses yet.
That's good. Thanks.
I want to remind the City Council that the City Council approved a significant purchase of buses. Those were compressed natural gas buses. We still will retain our legacy electric buses, and as Director Crespo had pointed out when he went through the master plan for buses, we will be having a hybrid fleet, which is both compressed natural gas and electric, but the first rounds will all be compressed natural gas.
I have one question. So a bus that's all electric, if let's just say it goes out on its route and it goes from here to downtown, I'm just using this as an example here, is there an indicator that lets the driver know that she only have so much electricity to get back, or do you know when you get to a certain point and it just stops? Is there some type of charger that a mechanic goes out to charge it? How does that work?
Sure. So depending on the technology, right, we have what they call depot charging, which charges only at the bus yard.
Okay.
Some systems are starting to put out there en route charging. So there's designated places when they hit it, it kind of zaps it a little bit, gives it a little boost, and it keeps going, right?
Okay.
That's LA Metro that they're trying to do on the Silver Line, right? That's something that's going to kind of impact this region. So there is to answer your question, yes, there's a little gauge, kind of like a fuel gauge that tells you your miles.
Okay.
Right? It's your state of charge, what they call, that's left on the bus. It's like, is it 80% of your battery, 40%, 30%? And then we train our employees to say, look, if it ever gets to like 25%, you call in dispatch, and then we start working a bus exchange.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Councilmember Medina.
Just as an FYI, on the Southern California, on the South Bay COG, we just got a report for the people that have electric cars, and they're constantly improving the batteries. And what's good today will be obsolete next year. So we might have batteries that last twice as much as they did the year before. There's some cars that only could go like 200 miles. Now they can go 600 miles on the battery charge. So I think as time gets closer and closer to purchasing these batteries and buses, I think we'll have optimal ways of changing and getting more bang for your battery.
Okay, thank you. And if there are no other questions or comments, I'd like to get a motion to adopt resolution number 6369 and resolution number 6370.
So moved.
Okay, there was a motion made by Councilmember Medina and a second by, Henderson? Okay. Madam City Clerk, there was There was a motion made by Councilmember Medina and a second by Councilmember Henderson. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Medina.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
I love the buses, yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka.
Yes.
Councilmember Cascanian.
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay, thank you. You did a great job, Mr. Crespo. Okay, next we're going to move on to council directives at this time. Does any member of the council have any directives? We're going to start on this end here. We're going to, Councilmember Medina, any over here? Okay.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's just a follow-up on a item that we had, I think, 2 or 3 months ago with regards to our Nakaoka Community Center. I think the state of the city kind of validates what we were talking about with regards to an upgrade on the sound system. One of the things that I realized, I didn't know you had practiced the whole event in the afternoon, and everything went without a glitch. But when people came in, we need to look at to have our own Wi-Fi in the building itself, because that's what caused a lot of the CDs to stop and a lot of the glitches with it when it comes to the sound system. So when we do revamp the Nakaoka, make sure we have our own in-house, they have the little satellite Wi-Fi that'll eliminate that problem.
I just want to provide a little clarification of that, and point well taken, council member. So Prezi is a different type of method to do what PowerPoint, many of us use PowerPoint for. The issue I don't believe had to do with the Wi-Fi. When the video, the economic development video played, we actually closed down all of the other programs. So we think it was more of a computer capacity issue because it takes a lot of memory. So it's a lesson learned. It wasn't a Wi-Fi because that was actually downloaded onto the computer, et cetera. So we actually ran an analysis on the availability of bandwidth. Director Osorio and his staff did. It was not a bandwidth issue. So ultimately, when I was standing off the side, I asked Ms. Santine to close down all the other programs and then just to play that one, and that's why it works. So lesson learned, but the Prezi is a much more robust and entertaining way of presenting the information. So, but lesson learned, and we are taking all those into consideration when we finally roll out the upgrade to the Nakaoka Center.
And let's work on having speakers facing the audience as opposed to overheads, because the overheads cause a lot of feedback, especially if it's a low ohmage microphone. Having them from the front to the back or even the sides would be a lot better. But you know, I'm sure we're going to get a few estimates and we can check that out.
We paid for a company to come in and provide audiovisual services. Hopefully the speakers we get will be built in, so we won't have that problem.
Councilmember Henderson?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And during the State of the City, when Prezi was going, I was feeling our pain because it is a resource hog and nothing you can do about it right at the time, but it always works when nobody's around. So my heart was with us when that was happening, trust me, as a technologist. But what I wanted to ask, I also want to thank staff. I put in over the weekend Gardena Direct for lime that I seen kind of just strewn on our sidewalk and everything. So I wanted to kind of make us aware of that, lime, those little scooters. So lime and bird. So on my way here tonight, I saw one. I was going to stop and put another Gardena Direct, but the person was tailgating me so much I couldn't turn off quick enough. But I'm not sure if they have a business license with us, but I wanted to know if we'd be interested in looking in what it would cost us to confiscate those when we see them on the street and then seeing if we can get some sort of a remediation from lime or birds. I just wanted to see if anybody was interested in that.
I'll second that.
Okay. Yes. Okay, Councilman Henderson, we'll definitely look into it and have a report back to the City Council. Although I do know we have, I don't want to use the word confiscated, we have stored several of them at our Public Works.
Okay. Any other directives at this time? No? Okay, so at this time, we're going to move on to our city manager remarks regarding the directives and council items.
Thank you, Mayor, Serta, members of the City Council. In your package, there is a memorandum of understanding between the Gardena Chamber of Commerce and the City of Gardena. This is the second memorandum of understanding that we have signed. The first one was with the MLK Committee. The Chamber, we are still working on finalizing the one with the Cinco de Mayo Committee, and then the last one will be with the Sister City Association. As I stated to the City Council many months ago when we started down this path, is to formalize our agreement with our partners to ensure that they have the support we need. We each have understandings of what we are respectively going to do for each other, and this is a good way to formalize that and move forward with our agreement. So it's really to enhance the relationship and to minimize the finger pointing and maybe any of the feelings that may be hurt as a result of someone got something that someone else didn't get. We truly want to be partners with all of our groups, and those 4 are the primary partners that the city has. So that's a good step moving forward. In your council package, there is a memo regarding the reorganization of assignments and city council delegates and alternates. No action is necessary at this time. I do plan on placing the reorganization of assignments on the April 9th council meeting. So Mayor Serta, if you look at those and council members about the current delegates and assignments before the next council meeting. At the end of my presentation, we do have a highlight of the State of the City video. Hopefully it will work. Just to kind of highlight for the community. It's very short. It's only about 2 minutes. Really happy to announce that we are officially now a passport center, and those are up and running. And we are really excited about a new application that we're using for scheduling. It's called Appointments Plus. And we are able to schedule your appointment for not only your passport, but we're going to use it for rentals, for anything that you need to schedule to work with the city. You can go online. It's very easy, and you can reserve and make those appointments online. It should make the process of reserving space at our facilities, making appointments, whether it be for passports, an issue with planning, an inspection, getting the police department already uses it for the permits. So it's just a convenient way that you can schedule your appointments rather than having to come here and it'd be a busy day. You don't know if you have to wait here a long time. Certainly want to enhance the customer experience. Really excited about the City of Gardena's economic development video. It is posted now on YouTube, as well as our economic development website that is officially launched. And next council meeting, we'll be doing a presentation to the City Council about the website, because it is a substantial improvement, not only for community members, but those companies and developers that want to come to Gardena. The information there is not only relevant, it's useful, and it's up to date. And then lastly, the council approved our contract for our grant writing company. We've already submitted our first grant, and we're actively looking at doing another one right now, finalizing that application, and we plan on submitting as many grants as we possibly can to bring funds to this community to enhance the quality of life here. And other than that, I do want to take an opportunity now to play the short video. Sound. That's off.
So join us Thursday.
Hi everyone, this is Mayor Tasha Serta, and
This is Chief Thomas Kang.
So this year, our State of the City for 2019 will be a combination of one, a year in review of how our city's been doing, as well as things that are come for our city, along with our Police Community Forum this year.
So join us Thursday, March 21st at Gardena Nakaoka Center, and we'll start at 6 p.m. and the event will actually happen at 7. And we're going to meet, greet, and eat.
Exactly. So join city leaders as they review the city's accomplishments for the year, and just come out and socialize with your neighbors and friends. This is free to all who would like to attend.
It was definitely a great event, and I heard nothing but great feedback. So thank you to everybody involved.
Good, good. Well, thank you. That was a great video. One quick thing. So I know City Manager mentioned about the assignments of our different committees. If every council member can just, if you're happy with your committee, still let the City Manager know, so we don't need to make any changes. So we have all this information prior to the next meeting. Okay. So we're going to begin next with our council remarks. We're going to begin tonight with Councilmember Henderson. Be ready, be ready. Come on,
be ready, be ready. All right, I'm ready. Well, thank you, Madam Mayor. Since our last meeting, I was able to attend the District 2 neighborhood meeting, as well as hosted the Independent Cities Association meeting here at our Gardena City Hall, which was actually a great event. Folks are very impressed with our city and our grounds and our office space and everything. So that was a prideful moment. Also, speaking of prideful, had a chance to attend the G-Trans Rodeo. That was that's always a fun event, but the pride and proudness of our operators on our G-Trans fleet is phenomenal. Ernie Crespo, thank you for keeping the morale up over there. I think the employees enjoyed seeing myself, the mayor, and Councilman Cascane in there. Appreciate it. They actually uplifted my spirits in regards to how dedicated they are and how sharp their uniforms were. That's excellent. I also had a chance to sit for lunch with Centinela Youth Services. What I do with the volunteers that I'm responsible for, I have an appreciation lunch with them one-on-one and let them ask questions and share their experiences. So that's always fun. I had my community meetings, and Also, as a local control fanatic, as I've been deemed by my Independent Cities colleagues, I attended a small cells 5G webinar, seminar, conference call, and everything. So as you know, I had a load of questions and everything in regards to the impact of small cellular towers and 5G on the community. So let's stay tuned for that. Other than that, I was at the State of the City. I'm not going to elaborate on that because it was a great event. I think, Madam Mayor, you should speak on that. So other than me forgetting about the color guard, it was a great event. It was a proud event, but the feedback was wonderful in regards to that event. So I got a lot of hard time from one of my classmates says, I used to be a color guard, so I should know better. But I want to say, Madam Mayor, it ends my report, but State of the City was excellent.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Councilmember Medina.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since our last council meeting, I had a telephone conference with the Southern California Association of Governments, and I'm very proud to say that I represent the County of LA, and we had representatives from the County of Riverside, County of Orange County, and we talked about the voting criteria that we're going to have to represent our local regions. Our SCAG membership is growing by leaps and bounds. That we're up to almost 198 cities. So we're slowly but surely growing bigger and bigger. And I'm very proud that I represent the county of LA as far as our region is concerned. As far as the regional council, I represent Inglewood, Hawthorne, and Gardena. So I'm very proud of that. I also attended the South Bay Council of Governments, which is called the COG. And we had a really good presentation by these manufacturers of batteries, which I spoke of with Mr. Crespo. And these things are growing by leaps and bounds. The car batteries are improving hand over fist. The cars that used to be able to only go 400 miles can now go 800 miles. The time, they're adjusting with various cities so they can have local recharge. As you're driving up to San Francisco, you'll have places where you can recharge your cars, and hopefully we'll do the same thing with our buses. And that'll really improve the longevity of the electric bus lines and car lines and truck lines as well. They're looking at trucks also going all electric from the Port of LA. And I also got a chance to attend the State of the City, which was really, really impressive. The fact that you combine both together was really, really awesome. And it was like a gigantic party. That's what I got out of it anyway. And the fact that the way the presentations were made, they were not just a bunch of numbers. They actually meant something the way it was presented. Because you could say fine 10 different ways, but the way we said fine was really, really great. And I was really proud of our staff more than anything else. And thank you, Stephanie. Thank you. And I think we found our city manager's niche. From now on, he's going to be an auctioneer. And that is my report. Oh, before I end my report, I want to say hi to my granddaughter, Angelina. She's watching on TV, and she always says, Dad, Papa, what do you do in City Hall? And now you know.
Okay. Next, we have Councilmember Kaskanian.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since our last meeting, I attended the Gardena Valley Lions meeting, and I spoke a little bit regarding the pantry and the state of the city. And at the end of the meeting, they came up with that they will collect cans, food cans at 2019, 2020 years. Every meeting they attended, they're going to bring canned foods to the pantries. This is as per board members of Gardena Valley Lions.
Nice.
So, yeah, I relayed your message as well to them. I also attended the G-Trans Rodeo. It's great. It's very impressive how the drivers, they drive between the cones. And this year, Mr. Crespo, I see something new. I see tennis balls that they drive over the tennis balls and without moving the tennis balls. So it's very impressive, you know. I guess in the back of the bus is a dually, double tires, you know, and you have to go between them. So it's great, and congratulations for winning.
Third.
Right?
Third.
Third, yes.
Third.
Yeah, third. So we have a, you know, trophy, right? Yeah, of course. Madam Mayor, State of the City, job well done, great, very good. I would like to congratulate Patricia Worthy receiving the recognition award from El Camino Lions. Sorry I couldn't make it, but congratulations to Pat Worthy. And I would like to thank, out of city business, but I would like to thank the state of Alabama for recognizing the Armenian genocide. State of Alabama is the 49th state of recognizing, so leaving Mississippi. So we got to work hard on Mississippi now. So we'll be, yes, the whole union will recognize it. Other than that, Madam Mayor, that ends my report.
Okay, thank you. And for my report, since the last council meeting, I attended a police appreciation luncheon that was held at the Community Worship Center, which the pastor who was here a couple of weeks ago, Pastor Ruben Del Pilar, invited us to. And it was a really nice event where they just had lunch for our officers and thanked them for just doing a great job in protecting our community. And one of the things that was really special about the event was they had this really nice cake, and it was in the shape of like a shirt uniform. And I'm sure Chief King has it on his Facebook, if you go to his Facebook. But it was in a special honor, in remembering Officer Toshio, which I thought was really nice of them to do. So I'd just like to thank them for having that event. And my understanding, it's going to be an annual event that they're going to continue doing. So that was really great, and just letting our officers know how much we appreciate their hard work. I also attended the Five-Star Rodeo, and as always, I'm always just proud of our G-Trans drivers there. And I think my colleagues were coming out, and I know some of you who wanted to be there but had other obligations. We know you guys were there in heart and spirit. So it was a great event, and third place is okay this year because in the past we have come in first, and we can't win every time, but, you know, in our eyes, our drivers are always going to be number one. So, you know, rest assured, we feel confident with that. So thank you again for inviting us to that event. It was a lot of fun. I also attended on that same day our annual koi show. And, you know, as always, that's a very interesting and great event to attend. I've mentioned this in the past. We have koi fish that are worth, some of them I saw $25,000. I saw one fish was worth $40,000. And they're really, it's pretty amazing to see these really unique fish and to learn about all the different ways that when a person is growing a koi fish, you know, what they do to compete. You know, you have to feed the fish a certain way. They can only get so much water, water to sun ratio, and the size of the pond they're in. It's pretty amazing what they go through just to grow these fish to the size that they are, not to mention competing. So along with attending the koi show, I also went to the koi banquet later on that evening. And I hate to kind of echo this again, but unfortunately our speakers went out on us that night too, and the staff was really great in trying to switch up the microphones there, but it got to a point that the microphones didn't work at all, and they were kind of yelling, so they just kind of had to yell out what they wanted to say. But I know it's coming, so just wanted to mention that we had some problems there at the gym. But aside from that, it was great. The organization was very happy that we were hosting the event here. They really, really appreciate the way Gardena rolls out the red carpet for them and just making sure that everything is great, whether it's the generators we have for the fish, offering our auditorium to them. So they just wanted me to echo to this council how much they appreciate what the city of Gardena does. And there was a gentleman there also who, he was the first person who brought the whole koi show to the United States, from Japan to the United States. So he was there that night, and he was recognized, and he talked about, you know, how it all started and the experiences of that. And I'm just happy that we could help facilitate that show here in our city. So thank you to all those who took part in that, because our Parks and Rec staff, you guys did a great job in helping them out, keeping, you know, the show going that day. And then also, you know, we did have our State of the City last Thursday night, and I just want to thank everybody. There were so many people who had their hands involved in that, from our city manager, Stephanie, Santine, all of our department heads. Thank you for getting me all of your great information so that we could compile it together and just present all the best things that happened in 2018 and what's coming in 2019. So I was really excited that, you know, some of my friends from LA City Council came out, and they were so blown away with what Gardena is doing. And they called me the next day, and they just kept saying, wow, you guys are really doing a lot there. And it was mentioned earlier tonight, but it was like a great networking party. I think our residents had a great time. I had a good time. Just the format that we put together this year, I think combining our police forum along with our State of the City, I think was great. And I'm just going to speak on behalf of the chief, because I'm sure the chief appreciated the fact that we put them together like this. And it was just a good event. So to our staff, between the food, putting together that presentation was not easy, and I know all the work that went into it, so I have to give a special thank you to Stephanie, because she worked a lot of long, hard hours and demanding that all the departments hurry up and send their information to her, and she spent long weekends, because I saw her in here on Saturday working late. So thank you again for all that extra time. It definitely showed in the presentation there. And even our departments, I know there were some requests I made. Can you go out and take a picture of the manhole? I appreciate those of you guys who did all those little extra things, because it made such a big difference that day. And one of the things that someone told me, they said, you guys didn't just talk about it and it just kind of went over our heads, but with us actually seeing it and seeing an example of this, we get it. We totally understand what you guys are doing. And it made us feel really good knowing that our tax dollars are, being put to good use, and we're seeing them within the city. So again, I just have to say thank you to everybody who had a hand in that. It was really great. The only problem I had is I never got a chance to take a picture on that special little selfie thing. I was so busy running around. So we definitely have to put that up again, because I definitely want to do that. It looked like everybody was having a great time with that. So that was my only complaint. I didn't get a chance to take a picture with that. But aside from that, it was a wonderful, wonderful event. And I'm looking forward to next year's event, because I know we have a lot of great things to put into next year's event. In fact, I even had one of our hotel owners that said, I can't wait to be a part of that next year. I want to show you guys my before and after of our hotel. And so I think it's something that more businesses will possibly, want to participate, especially in our before and afters of how the properties, are looking now. So that's all I'm going to say about that, our State of the City. The last thing was, on that next day, I attended a Power Leadership Forum, and it was entitled The Influence of Black Women. And their special guest they had was Pat Harvey and our Congresswoman Maxine Waters, and they talked about some of the struggles as political figures, as well as TV personalities that they've had over the years, and how it's impacted society. So I was very honored to be able to attend that event. And believe it or not, I actually had somebody run up to me and say, I didn't get a chance to go to your State of the City, but I heard you guys had a great time in Gardena. So that was great to hear, even from people who weren't there. So that was a lot of fun as well, too. And with that ends my report. And next up is Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's hard to follow you. So after our last meeting last time, I did get to represent the city at the El Camino Lions Citizen of the Year. And congratulations to Pat Worthy, who is my appointee to the Senior Citizens Bureau. If you don't know Pat, she does wonderful things for our city and volunteers hundreds and hundreds of hours, especially to Meals on Wheels, and she's been doing that for many years, and distinguished president from the Kiwanis Club. So thank you, Pat, for all you do, and congratulations. Madam Mayor, to go along with your State of the City, last year I thought was a great one, and I didn't think that you could do any better. And this year, I was so proud of you. It was, it made my heart full on what you did, because a lot of my political friends, a lot of my friends in the city just, you wowed them. You totally wowed them. So, you know what? They all want to be like us, and I'm proud that you make everybody want to be like us. And so keep doing what you're doing. I know Jan Perry is a friend of mine, and she was totally blown away by the things that you do. So thank you very much. It was a great evening. Attended the fade-out party for our exalted ruler, Adrian Castaneda, who is now an past exalted ruler. I apologize for not being at the rodeo. I wanted to be there. My mom had some issues, but yeah, I'm glad we came in third. I have joined District 3's next door neighbor, So I'm getting all the information from next door neighbor on District 3. And I stopped by the koi show to find that big one that you bought me, and I couldn't find it, so I'm not going to build a pond for it. Okay, so that ends my report, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, one more thing. I'm a member of the Mohicans from Gardena High School. And for those that don't know, Gardena High School, when it was back where Perry was at, every senior class would donate a picture to the school. Some of these pictures were worth a lot of money. Some are missing, but we still have examples of those photos from the history of 1919, and I think it's 1956, and this gives you a great history of that artwork from Gardena High School. This one I am donating to the city, so if you need to see it and you want to stop by and see if you want to buy one, because it's a mere $50, and I'll leave the address of where you can purchase one through the Gardena High School Art Collection, but this is amazing. I read this book and could not imagine all the things from 1919 to 1956 and the artwork that is kept on behalf of the city of Gardena's Gardena High School. So if you want to see it, come by the city and see it. That is my
Okay, thank you. I have one question for the city manager. Do we know how many cans were collected through our food pantry?
There's about 5 carts full of cans, but we don't have an actual count. I'll have that for the next council meeting.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so announcements. Do you have any announcements? Because I don't have any over here. Okay, we have no announcements before the next council meeting. With the exception of our GDAP and ADAP at Gardena High School, August 8th through 12th, they will be having their anti-420 day. And if you'd like more information, you can contact Officer Sterling Kim. Will you guys have flyers at the next council meeting? Okay, great, thank you. So with that, I'm going to move on to our remembrances. Tonight, we're going to adjourn in memory of Mr. Al Peace, who was 72 years old, a 33-year resident of Gardena and an active member of the Gardena Elks Lodge number 1919. We're also going to adjourn in memory of Mr. Martin Alvarez, who was 84 years old, a Gardena-born lifelong resident who was married 63 years to his wife Maria and is the father of Michael, Melissa, Mark, Michelle, Marty, Matthew, Marcus, and Mitchell. He is also a grandfather, great-grandfather, and a great-great-grandfather. His community involvement included being a member of the Cinco de Mayo Committee, the Gardena Sister City Association, a past Exalta ruler of the Gardena Elks Lodge, and a member of the Old Timers Club, and a mentor and friend to countless citizens throughout the South Bay. We're also going to be adjourning in memory of Mr. Marcos Antonio Perdomo. In his mid-20s, he is the beloved son of recreation leader Carmen Rivera with the Recreation Human Services Department. So at this time, we're going to adjourn our Gardena City Council meeting to our next regularly scheduled City Council meeting, which will be at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, April 9, 2019. We are adjourned.